You know what really plagues pay-per-view is a terrible post Raw, post SummerSlam Raw, and it's supposed to be hype, supposed to build up to the next story. Side note: the King of the Ring is coming back. I've been wishing for a tournament for something to happen. So we can develop all these little fuckers that they have in the jobber territory. I'm not even calling it mid-card because no way Jose, Robert Roode, Drake, even R-Truth, Shelton Benjamin, all these fags haven't been doing much for the last several months, and it's now August. We are near the later months of this year of 2019, and it's been a rocky period. Thanks, it's been the record lows attendance-wise for WWE that the nosebleeds were worse than it was in SummerSlam. For Raw, there's no excuse. Especially when you have this show supposed to be like your end all be all, and all we had at SummerSlam was Goldberg jobbing out Dolph Ziggler, Trish Stratus having a decent match on against Charlotte Flair. It was pretty good. The main event being a smidge bit better than WrestleMania. Thanks, it was legit the main event of something against the top draw in the company so far in Brock Lesnar, and Braun's supposed to have his redeeming match against Brock Lesnar, but somehow he just wins clean. Well, he has a handicap from literally having an F5 to his own fucking stretcher and having a rib injury he's selling, and yet he pins him clean in two major shows. Roman Reigns couldn't do that. Triple H couldn't do that. Fucking Dean Ambrose couldn't do that. But Seth Rollins can. And over the course of the show, of course, fucking Rollins would come out and, of course, be like, I love all you guys and I'm a fighting champion. And just, it's always the same thing with you baby faces. We get it. You want to be a babyface. You want to kick ass. That's why wrestlers sometimes like being the heel, because playing the babyface is boring if you don't have your own unique character. Rollins doesn't have that unique character, other than he's a skinnier Roman Reigns with wetter, shorter hair, and that sucks. Thanks. Oh, Rollins is a better wrestler. He just have no captivating qualities about him that makes him interesting to make you buy toys about him. In this show, wasn't much. Other than, I'm gonna go over it right now because I love the match. There was an underwhelming 2 out of 3 falls match involving Andrade facing off against Rey Mysterio, and there's supposed to be a predecessor after a match that he lost clean, and then he lost clean in the gauntlet match for the United States Championship that Andrade ripped off the mask. So instead of having like an Extreme Rules match, thinks he cares about his luchador heritage, he gets a 2-0 sweep against Andrade at a 2 out of 3 falls match. And over the show, and then after the match, Rey Mysterio's like, I gotta do it for the family. I don't know if they're hinting at a heel turn here or a different shift of character. If it is, hopefully it does, because I love Rey Mysterio too much to my heart to see him like completely wasted to the area after having the most forgettable feud with Samoa Joe for the United States Championship. Again, having a repeat feud with Andrade and barely developing any storyline, even though he's the best wrestler in the world. I mean, in the roster, and he has the best matches with Andrade. Just watch his matches at back on SmackDown, and watch his matches with him like the week before, like a few nights before SummerSlam. They are incredible talents, and Andrade isn't a guy to take lightly in the ring. As much as he does flips, he works well with Rey Mysterio. I'll give him that. There was also AJ Styles coming in to obviously try to build up a champion versus champion match. Still no authority figures. I'm still pissed off about that. Like, you guys have like no idea what the fuck you're doing after like McMahon says this is always a new area. Isn't this like the third time they made a new era after getting rid of the brand split the first time, after making the authority a thing, after making a brand split again, after what the fuck are you guys doing? These guys are just setting up matches off the spot with no booking. You said the McMahons are going to run the town. I don't care if Triple H is shown 24/7 on Raw. Please show an authority figure. Please have a fucking CEO, a GM, the chairman, a fucking operator, somebody that works behind the scenes. Let him become a heel, generate heat, and generate matches. It's not that hard. You don't have to make a glorified babyface if you want to make something different on Monday Night Raw. You have to make stuff watchable, or else nobody's going to tune in. That's why people were pissed off with Kurt Angle when he became GM, Mick Foley when he became GM, or more time when Stephanie McMahon was taking over a bit of Raw, the later half of 2015 to 17, when she was being commissioner or something. Nobody likes that. And we had Rollins facing off against AJ Styles in a champions versus champion match for the main event. So that was something different. It wasn't a qualifying match, not a number one contenders match, no battle royal, no gauntlet, just a regular main event match against two of the top champions in the brand. That's something to get behind, at least. And two of the best wrestlers, and they had a decent match of the year match, back up Money in the Bank. What happened? They get no DQ in the main event. You still could have had Styles win off underhanded tactics, thanks it was 3-on-1. Then we had Sami Zayn. The Street Profits were not shown once, but twice. Trying to promo and be the hype man in matches. And listen, I love Christian Miracle. I love him to death. But by God, when he kept saying that Montez Ford and Dawkins are the prime, guys of personality, I don't see it. I'm about to review. I have the review for Takeover ready. But by God, I don't see any charisma for these guys. You have Dawkins acting fat and trying to anything to make any overboard relevant while trying to have some Vine cringe-worthy comedic humor in their conversations. While, oh my God, Ford is so fucking annoying. He was like, Ray, chill down, booyaka, booyaka. Like nobody watches the show for that shit. They are not charismatic. I'll say this, they had a great opening match against the Undisputed Era. They are tremendous performers, and if they had a legit, unique promo style, and Montez Ford can keep his fucking tone low and actually have interesting things to say other than being a hype man for a primetime television show, and have your actual interviewers hype up the matches and actually have intelligent fucking commentary to say over the show, I wouldn't have to complain about the Street Profits being on Raw. Because they're not legit on Raw. They are NXT superstars. They literally did the same thing with another tag team, like a forceful tag team because of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Aleister Black and Ricochet had to show up, and then they started having a match 24/7 on Raw and SmackDown. And then they just came split up during the fucking goddamn Superstar Showdown, even though people are more excited when it comes to an actual draft that is unpredictable and literally has bragging rights for whoever gets the best pick. That's literally what made the draft at least a most watched thing to view on Raw. Because you don't know, and I even thought of they should make a demotion thing. Fandango and Tyler Breeze are on NXT. Why don't you get guys that barely even show up or at least have not that much TV time? Let them show up on NXT, have a few matches, maybe they can have a takeover event, build up some viewership, and if they have an interesting character, or at least they gotten better in ring-wise, they can come back to the main roster. Hook, line, and sinker, and main event doesn't even have to still exist. Fucking Dana Brooke and the Riot Squad are on fucking main event. Weren't these bitches feuding with fucking Natalya? And Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey? What's the point of that? Then we had Sami Zayn completely shovel the fuck. This was my favorite segment. And Sami Zayn interrupting the Street Profits. And then and then shoveling the entire gimmick of Seth Rollins like, you used to be a badass in the Shield, and now you say bring it down, act like a little bitch for no goddamn reason. That was the best part of the show for me, because I like Sami Zayn's like literal commentary on everything that's going around the wrestling business. It's the funniest thing, but other than that, he's still like a ginger snap piece of shit that can barely even hold his own in the ring that much anymore. And it was an entertaining segment, but all this went into mocking Samoa Joe, and then Samoa Joe challenged Sami Zayn in a match later on, earlier on Raw. So it just came up to just a simple squash match. Samoa Joe got the Coquina clutch, beat the shit out of Sami Zayn, and won the match. And then, like, going over what happened a few weeks ago when Roman Reigns legitimately apologized to Samoa Joe publicly over the accused attacker, thanks Buddy Murphy literally just blamed Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan for assaulting him over the last few weeks. So that was a pointless promo just for Samoa Joe to act semi-fucking intimidating. And then we had the Ziggler and Miz match that should have happened on SummerSlam for a different stipulation, but they just wanted to put Goldberg in the squash match so we can have some hype. But it was cool, though. You're about to see the SummerSlam review soon, so you'll get more in-depth detail on what happened. So, by God, this match was so shit. Not only is this like the 22nd time that Miz and Dolph Ziggler are in the ring together, it was the fucking roles reversed, that the Miz is babyface while Dolph Ziggler's heel, and they had the most generic. You can tell when a super kick is happening. You could tell when he's about to do. Then Miz is about to do those stupid little flurry kicks now. Double knee corner strike. Then it just ended off a finger four leg lock. The finger four leg lock. Cesaro couldn't even tap out from that, and you're telling me Dolph Ziggler does now? And this came off the blue. Dolph Ziggler wasn't even wrestling in tights. First, he just made a reasonable reason that he got squashed by Goldberg. He faked a bit of an injury, got an easy, cheap shot on the Miz. He didn't even hit him with a weapon or underhandedly low-blowed him, attack him from the back of his head, captivated on an injury. No, he just attacked him in a surprise attack and just issued the match to be right now. When Ziggler's in civilian clothes and obviously got his ass beaten by Goldberg. That's a smart way, because you think Miz is an easy target even though he's well more prepared than you. Then he lost by a finger four leg lock. And then Ziggler talked some more shit, and then he just got skull crushing finale. So that was much. I don't know if they're trying to shovel Dolph Ziggler. I don't give a fuck. I think Ziggler's a waste of my time. Ever since he came back after Kofi Kingston became world champion, it's just fucking depressing. And what a waste. Stop saying that Kofi is decent. Like who brings that to mind that Kofi should be world champion? Not in a million years. I'm gonna remember Kofi as WWE champion, other than, oh, the business wasn't a complete hole. Then they gave Kofi Kingston the fucking WWE championship, and then you make him lose by countout in SummerSlam against Randy fucking Orton after calling him fucking stupid 10 years ago. And you're saying why nobody wants to get Kofi Kingston figures? Then buy the tiny little WWE Championship and wrap it around that Negro's fucking waist? Because nobody wants to waste time with that. Listen, I'm all about giving a nigga a chance to be world champion, but the only world champion worthy guy was Booker T. Because he actually had a likable personality. He was big in the ring and he can step against like guys like Triple H, John Cena, even guys still in the main roster. I think he's like still a top dude if he was still lacing his boots and competing. But he's not. And the main roster is stripped to shit because we don't even know what to do with the fucking good talent like fucking Elias. Even though he's a SmackDown superstar, it's a wild card effect. Wild card effect. Corey, wild card effect. Oh my god. Wild card effect. Sorry, still not finished sucking Vince's dick for 20 years. And fuck. It was poor. This Ricochet and Elias match was poor. Ricochet botched the Hurricane Rana. He always does the top called Holo. It's always rinse and repeat whenever you see a Ricochet match. As athletically gifted Ricochet is, and just storyline wise, it just came to Ricochet just pinning him, obviously with the 630, and just no, I think it was a roll up win, and then Elias just later in the show just won the 24/7 championship after like R-Truth won it back from Robert Roode. Fuck, why did you change your name? Like he doesn't even have much TV time to change his name. It's like if Brian Kendrick was gone and changed his name to the Brian Kendrick. Like nobody asked for that. And it's not even a character shift. He was still the same character. And then we had the Andrade and Rey Mysterio match. And let me tell you what, this match was disappointing for me because I always love watching Andrade and Rey Mysterio wrestle, but no rhyme or reason other than right now you disrespected the Luchador heritage even though you guys wrestled like earlier this year, and you still don't push the envelope for Andrade for no fucking reason. And then Rey Mysterio now thinks about his family and shit after he won the US title like a few months prior, was in WrestleMania. And I understand why they want to do something with Rey Mysterio later in the year. They actually want to develop something with Rey. But by God, such an underwhelming 2 out of 3 falls match when you're supposed to show Rey Mysterio's doing this for a literal personal reason as the luchador name and trying to rip off his fucking mask that Chris Jericho did. And all he gets is a 2-0 victory against Andrade. The first fall was decent off a roll down. They didn't drag it like they did like the Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano match that you saw back in TakeOver Toronto. It was a decent, like, I think 10 minutes. Until it was, fucking, Zelina Vega holding down the legs from the ropes for Andrade to get the roll up for the first fall. And then Hammerlock DDTs right on Rey Mysterio's dome for the second fall, clean. And then we had Michael Cole just immediately have a goddamn Stone Cold Steve Austin on simulcast on fucking Skype. Fucking Skype. You couldn't have a camera team come up there and have them simulcast in the show and show them in the Titantron. It's like, it looks like he's playing fucking Fortnite or a video game with seeing Steve Austin, the coolest character in WWE history, wearing fucking pussy ass budget headphones that he got from a Best Buy, and watch and literally talk to Michael fucking Cole about Steve Austin. He's cool. I wouldn't lose to Brock because I didn't want to get him over. Fuck you. Fuck you. The show sucked. It's like, why you have somebody like Steve Austin, a guy that barely pushed anybody in his career, and be like, oh, Seth Rollins is a real deal for no fucking reason. What did Rollins do to prove, huh? He won a Royal Rumble. He doesn't need anybody to speak for him. He beaten Brock Lesnar before, and he beat him in SummerSlam. He had beaten Sting, beaten John Cena, and all this crap, and he still needs Hall of Famers to try to push him over. He had Bret Hart at SummerSlam, hyping him up before the match, and then you have Steve Austin come and suck his dick, and guess what? People still don't give a fuck about Seth Rollins. That's depressing for me. From a character standpoint, it does nothing for a wrestler to be pushed by a Hall of Famer, especially when they can barely drive a comparison off the window. They barely have much of a character than Seth Rollins had back at the Shield. And they still can't find a character. They got the Archetype, and then the Slayer, and then he says burn it down, and yet he does nothing intimidating. Except that one time he came with a steel chair when he was feuding with fucking Baron Corbin. And Corbin hasn't been on TV for 2 months. I think that's a positive, though. But it's like we're missing a lot of guys, and they don't give legitimate reasons, even on the fucking website. Where's Baron Corbin? Where's Lacey Evans? Where's Bray Wyatt, even though he had a big, impactful, goddamn viewage? His merch sold out, I've heard. He's obviously has a decent look for himself. And he's obviously the top draw if people want to watch Monday Night Raw. And after what happened back at SummerSlam, and you don't even have him do at least a fucking promo, at least a fucking a Firefly Funhouse skit. What the fuck was going on Raw? The most thing is, we'll bring back the tournament, but we won't show the bracket or qualifying matches. That's gonna happen next week on fucking Raw. Huh? Huh? Oh God! This takes dumbassery to a whole nother degree. As much as you want to be like, oh, we're doing something different. Paul Heyman was even in the show. Caleb was trying to get an interview with him, but then went over like bitching around all because he lost at SummerSlam, and Brock Lesnar loses twice to this fucking midget. But he beats The Undertaker at WrestleMania. How this fucking works makes no goddamn sense. The power scaling in Dragon Ball Super makes more fucking sense than it does for goddamn whatever the hell I was watching there. Brock Lesnar didn't even have an interview. Brock Lesnar never takes interviews. Thinks they take Lesnar as the muscle and Paul Heyman as the brain. And yet he keeps losing. On pay-per-view, clean. Lesnar hasn't won a clean pay-per-view match since the Royal Rumble 2019 when he faced off against Finn Balor. That's more of a skinny crook than Seth Rollins. And then the positive of the night, McIntyre and Cedric Alexander had an impressive match, I have to say. After seeing a Claymore kick that literally flipped the shit out of Cedric Alexander, a C4 from up top when literally fucking Cedric's a cruiserweight still, and McIntyre's a fucking heavyweight. That was impressive to watch. Then inverted Alabama slam. There was kicking the shit out of each other. McIntyre was looking like a muscle-bound freak out there, and yet he wasn't at SummerSlam. He could have a match like that at SummerSlam with Cedric. Thinks it had a basic story. A basic feud. Just a basic feud. He wants redemption after a roll-up victory against him back on the previous Raw. Or like a previous Raw ago. And they have a tremendous match. That's the second positive of the night. I don't think there was even a women's match tonight. That's another positive. Thinks I had to go to the bathroom. Then we had a random jobber match with the glorious DDT. Robert Roode beating the shit out of No Way Jose. Just with this rip-off Rosebuds. No Way Jose has a posse and yet he barely does promos. He never attacks people. He never had a character shift, except his fucking green braids that he had for several months. more bullshit occurred with the glorious DDT Robert Roode instead of Bobby Roode. I think they're doing that because of TNA reasons. I'd still call him TNA because if you have like a name for over a decade, you're obviously not gonna get that out of your mind so easier other than Impact Wrestling. And they're also coming back to TV, I think, on like Access TV. NWA TV is coming. Weird. So weird. Thanks, NWA is like before my time completely. And still have the same championships. Oh God, have they not aged well? Oh man, then we had the 24/7 championship. Like it completely just interrupted the match after Robert Roode won, and then they just transitioned because R-Truth is so over with the fans. Yeah, I mean it's entertaining to see the 24/7 championship, but you have it on R-Truth so many times, and he's just a dumb Negro. Who the fuck wants to waste time on Raw doing that? No kid wants to high five R-Truth unless you're a Make-A-Wish. You're willing to die, and the last thing you want to do is high five a black, middle-aged man holding up a title with a woman that looks like she sucked midget dick for no fucking reason. I'm telling you this from the hip. I don't take this crap seriously. I don't take R-Truth 24/7 championship as a fun thing if he keeps winning it every damn day and you have 17 other jobbers carefully still in the single digits for the goddamn 24/7 title. It's depressing. You had the Revival both win it, hold it for a smidgen of a few seconds until R-Truth pinned Scott Dawson. Dash Wilder just sat down like a little freak while the referee was just mildly holding his hand and literally just Dash Wilder just fucking forgot about it. Then R-Truth ran backstage doing anything. I hate that shit. Why do people say A when they're dancing? What kind of shit like that gets lit? What the fuck? Oh man. Oh, my head's gonna die. Oh wow. Then Elias wended off attacking him from behind the back with a guitar, becoming a 3-time 24/7 championship. There's not much to detail there except what I just said because it's a 24/7 title. It's not really like a wrestling bound championship. Like literally anybody can be champion. So they had also Viking Raiders face off against Carter and Mason in another squash match. That's literally it. They do their little finisher. The only thing that was good was like Ivor literally lifting up his head, like literally trying to rip off fucking, of course, Braun Strowman. And I hate the Viking Raiders. Their stupid ass promos they keep having with their overly exaggerated, like dark, like fucking voices. It's dumb. They're not fun. They have no interesting gimmick other than WWE desperately trying to think we need something that can stretch and says something cool as the War Raiders. And a decent ass kicking team they are. We're going to just come Viking Raiders because they're fat and have hair on their bodies awkwardly everywhere. And then we had the women's tag team titles being defended again. So somehow Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are baby faces for some apparent reason. And this is coming off a title defense they just had a day ago. When they literally just pinned the Iconics again. But then a distraction occurred off an interruption by by Alexa Bliss stopping one of the Ibuki Warriors. And then some spinning neck breaker that Nikki Cross does that I hate. She gets the pin and then a Twisted Bliss happened for the 1-2-3. They retain. I hate the tag team belts. They do nothing for the women's division. They make awesome characters, at least like Asuka and Kairi Sane, feel like jobbers. The Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss are barely even remarkable talent-wise or tag team-wise. Just does nothing for these women. Except you want to barely give them screen time when there's a lot more women out like Naomi. Now Sasha Banks is coming back. And Nia Jax. And then we had Natalya come out with a promo until Sasha Banks came and tried to make her feel a bit better. And then, boom! Surprise attack. Kept hurting her off the elbow. And this is coming off her trying to, redeem herself a bit after her tough loss against Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch came back, tried to kick the shit out of her. As there was also Becky Lynch with that stupid-ass promo, trying to think that she brung a lot. They're facing off against Natalya. Listen, you ginger bitch. You're not interesting. You're not cool. They compare you to Steve Austin for no fucking reason other than they feel bad for you. And all because you do whatever you want doesn't make you a Steve Austin. You're not even close to Steve Austin. You understand? You're just a female Dean Ambrose. And seeing how Moxley is right now in the Indies, your league's below that. You're not even interesting. You had a decent submission match, and there's a woman being the top draw in the company, and you have a match opener, that shows you're a literal stock in the air, in the roster. So suck a huge dick. I hope Sasha Banks kills you, because I know they're trying to push Sasha Banks into thinks she's returned, and she's the only one of the people with personal history with Becky Lynch. So what's gonna happen? Obviously, a feud. She started kicking the shit out of her a lot. Look realistically good. I like the blue hair instead of the red electric hair. Hopefully, she gets a faction. Thinks she's literally called the boss. That's a leadership title, like being called Captain Awesome. You don't even have a awesome fucking team with you, so that's stupid. Then we had the creme de la creme of disappointment. with the main event against the champion versus champion. It's supposed to develop their skills, underhanded tactics from maybe the U.S. champion. Thinks he has a literal heel faction with him. It ended by DQ because Carl Anderson Gallo can't chill the fuck out for a few seconds. And it was a sloppy match. A lot of terrible roll-ups. There was a missed super kick. AJ Styles looked like he wasn't into the match at all. And all it ended up with was Ricochet coming to face off against AJ Styles and stop him until Braun Strowman came, beat the shit out of everybody, gave AJ Styles a power slam, and gave Rollins back the U.S. title. And then he hit him with the power slam. No, that didn't happen. Strowman was obviously better as a heel or a neutral force because obviously he has a more notable line than "I'm not finished with you" after that blood feud with Roman Reigns. And something like that popularized him as a psychotic mountain of meat that you call Braun Strowman. The fact it just hands Seth Rollins the Universal Championship instead of surprisingly beating the shit out of him, he just hands him the title and handshakes him. Even though he's the same guy that literally pushed a goddamn ambulance truck, like tipped an ambulance truck that had his own friend Roman Reigns on it. And this show was shit. That's all of it. That's all of what you had to know. If you want to go back and watch my previous reviews, they're obviously down there. If you want to get, oh my god, more information about the King of the Ring, look it up. I don't care about the King of the Ring, even if they have tremendous talents. The only positives about the night was Sasha Banks returning and literally the Cedric Alexander Drew McIntyre match. Like, nothing else made coherent sense. Even the cameramen today were completely awkward. In the Robert Roode match, they fucking fucked up because they over the match. Sorry. I'm really sorry. Over the match, they just goddamn cut into the interviewer and Paul Heyman talking, awkwardly cut down, try to block out of the vignette so they can go back into the match, and then the cameraman had to go into another angle and fucking shift himself a bit from the ring post to the other side so he can get a better look on Rollins and Styles. Everything was a complete mess. This gets a 4 out of 10. There was 2 good, decent positives in the show. Anything else? They're at least trying to get somewhere. I guess the King of the Ring tournament is kind of a big thing for me. I like tournaments. And that's literally it. I'm being nice. I had a decent weekend. I had some pizza watching SummerSlam. So I'm happy. Fuck you niggas. Fuck that too. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hopefully you love this review and like me going off on Monday Night Raw. You guys have a great weekend. Get ready for the SmackDown review coming up soon.